do this. So let's hopefully this works the way I want it. If seems like it would. All right. Well, I guess we'll just do it from here.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I think I did it the same way. Right. So this video was taken by this guy I met in New York in Times Square. Right after I went to go meet up with the Crowd Pleaser. The Crowd Pleaser is a YouTube guy, well, Instagram, but he also has YouTube. But he was like, he had a lot of kind of virally type videos, and he was coming to New York, and I sent him a message and I asked him if I could come meet up with him, and he was like, all right, yeah, this is where I'm gonna be. Anyways, that was pretty cool because I got a little clip in his video, and then I met this really nice guy who was there, and then I asked that guy to come to my place to record about my art, and it took a while to plan it out, but eventually he came by and he recorded more videos than just this, but this is one clip that he ended up taking. And here it is. I'm Bradley Ferguson, and I've been doing art my whole life, and I feel like when I live somewhere, I want to create my art on walls because it's a nice thing. I'd rather see my art rather than just boring blank walls. So when I came in here, started painting on this wall, that's when we first come in, and this has been a process of not knowing what it was going to be to later on realizing I should study more so that it'd be like an idea of like just keep growing. It doesn't have to be any specific thing. It just grow. And yeah. And then I live in Brooklyn, so I go to Brooklyn there. I think showing kindness is very important. So kindness. I was saying earlier about local and Japanese. It's the year of the bull. This year, so I put a bull here. What is this one here? Oh, this is it's a dog. I think I looked up on the internet and found out about like the oldest breed of dog. I can't remember what it's called right now, but I was looking at this photo and I was like, I gotta do a painting of that. Yeah, that's this area. And yeah, actually, when I first decided I wanted to start painting on the walls, I wrote energy because you got the refrigerator, and I felt like having energy next to it would be a cool vibe. So I just thought it was like energy. And then I wrote gorgeous up here. It's just like, I don't know, it's a good word.
It's really nice to see like you got your identity in the walls, like values and that kind of stuff coming out, like growing, development.
I think it was
things you're thinking
winter
of at the time. It's really cool to see.
Spring.
Wise, energy,
And this leaf actually
grow.
the fish. And I was telling you earlier, it was
I like that. Fish and wise together, like they're all seen. Like how fish have no doubt really
diamonds up there.
great
I was
stuff.
gonna paint characters in those.
Just that
Like,
in my mind.
something.
Yeah.
I never got to because it's just like, I don't know, I think I did about 5 different people I was gonna do, and just, I don't know, I just haven't finished it. Eventually I'll do these angel characters I was gonna do. I think what I painted recently in Australia is kind of stemming off that. I painted my cats. A bunch of different. I wanted to do angels. Not angels, but my heart needed to let out. I felt like it was best to do it on the wall because it's the most fun. I mean, I feel like painting on canvases, in art galleries and stuff is cool. But I enjoy painting on walls. So that is big walls.
Do you feel that that painting on a wall rather than a canvas gives you more of a sense of freedom.
Yeah.
Rather than being like bounded inside the canvas before hanging on the sides.
I feel like it's a great exercise because if I feel like running over here, I run over there. If I feel like running over there, I run over there. Oh, now look over there.
Yeah.
Paintings and drawings.
Oh, now I feel like painting this. Oh, I'm gonna jump up here and try to paint it.
And then it's only at the end you see the transition between everything.
We didn't go that one, did we?
No.
Oh, okay.
And actually, so the situation with that
Whereas
is
with a
there is
canvas,
actually
you're like,
someone who's
alright, I'm working on this.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm working
There's
this.
it right
You're
now?
just like right here.
so
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't really like
Okay.
exercise as much. You can't,
Yeah.
see different perspectives and you can't really communicate with
And it's
others
very
as much.
influenced by, because it's the same
Environment.
space, and it's on different space, you're influenced by what you've already drawn as well. Even though you don't try not to be, subconsciously in your mind you might be influenced by it a little bit as well. This would give you more freedom.
So it just ended abruptly. So the guy who recorded that, he actually told me that he took tons of videos, and he told me he was gonna send me. He told me he was gonna send me the whole thing, but he never did. But
my name is Scott Bradley Ford.
yeah. So it just there's way more to what I have more videos of it, but yeah, his videos that he
Yeah, well, yeah, you said it would set up a whole gallery in that, so.
Yeah, if I look more, I could find more. But basically, what I wanted to do. So when you're looking at that magazine right there, so it's like different experiences. Oh, and by the way, you see this right here? It says Niggy Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool. So she's this rapper, and I saw her perform in New York, and then she's posted on her Instagram that she was coming to Melbourne. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna be going to Australia. I was in Hawaii at the time, and she came here and she performed. I don't know if you've ever been to the place called Section 8. It's in CBD. It's like a bar.
Yes, up in Section 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she ended up coming to Australia, and I think she performed in Sydney, but she also performed at Section 8. But yeah, I sent her a message and I was like, I'm working on this mural. I'd love to paint you on the wall. And she said, oh, it sounds great. And I didn't know if she would respond because I did meet her one time. She actually got a copy of my magazine. I saw her perform, and after her performance, I ran up to her. I'm like, hey, I really want you to see my magazine. And she's like, can I have it? And I'm like, well, I guess so. And yeah, I gave it to her, and then I got a picture with her. But from there, I didn't know if we would be able to stay in touch still. But when I sent her messages, she responded, and I'm like, do you remember meeting me? She's like, yeah, I remember meeting you. Your magazine is so good. And anyways, so she's been sending me voicemails. It's been really awesome because she's kind of a well-known rapper, and like to be able to like communicate with her is really inspiring. And so I ended up painting her on the wall right behind a Bunnings on Sydney Road. Her and my cats, and this other guy, crowd pleaser. Oh, the guy.
Can you send me the coordinates?
Yeah.
Or send me the address?
Yeah, of course.
Did
Feel free to see.
Did you paint a photo of her, or did she come there and you painted her? Or?
Nah, she's in New York.
Did you send her a photo?
Yes, she reposted it on her Instagram.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, it's really cool. You know Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
She even did like a few songs with him. So yeah, she's pretty successful with her music. Yeah. But anyways, she's no longer here in Australia. But I just kind of like, well, I was trying to reconnect with like the past of like of what had happened, when I was in New York, and I, because I was there 11 years, and so I just was like thinking I wanted to do my cats, paint my cats on the wall, but then I was like, well, what else comes to mind? And yeah, I decided to paint her, and I wanted to connect with her too, because, well, so with my magazine, it's a good magazine, but it does no advertising in it, and the whole purpose of making it was to just kind of figure out why I do art.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there's many different reasons you could say you make art, but to go back in time and re-look at all these things that I had done in the past and kind of try to, you know, re-look at it and try to figure out what it was about and how I can apply it to my life now was kind of why I decided to make the magazine. But before I was done with it, I had in mind that once I finished it, then I would do business for it, like to, you know, get people to know about it and get it in bookstore and stuff. But at this stage now, so I ended up, you know, it would be perfect. Actually, this would be perfect for this video. Hold on, let me put on this song. Oh, this would be so cool. This will be so amazing. Let's see. All right, guys, this is years in the making. What's going on right now? Me and Aaron. He doesn't know this, but this is a very special moment right now. All right, let's see. Kiro Uno, Princess Diamond. So this song right here, Kiro Uno, Princess Diamond, featuring Kelsey Bolkin.
At Woolworths,
Very
we've dropped the prices
important
on
song,
quality Australian meat that's
in my
worth staying
opinion.
in for.
And I decided to have this be my theme song for my magazine. So originally what I wanted to do is to have kind of what I'm doing with you, but have it at Barnes & Noble Union.
Up there and then have the song playing.
So I have like, you know, here I'm talking about the magazine and the music is playing and people are checking out the magazine or whatever. Well, I'm just gonna stop this for a second so I can say something. So basically, what I was trying to get at, so I don't like distract you from looking at the magazine. Basically, what I was getting at was, I decided I wanted to make a Kickstarter, and I wanted to make a nice video, which I guess we're making somewhat of a video right now. But I wanted to, with nice videos, they have music, you know. And so I started putting together music on a playlist on Spotify, and I collected you know, a bunch of different songs that I'm like, oh, these are good. Anyways, this song that I just played was the song that I decided was the theme song for the magazine. Yeah. And anyways, well, what's interesting is this guy Kiro Uno. He came to New York and he performed. I went to go see him and I met him, and so it was cool how things manifested because. Here I'm just putting this thing on Spotify. First I just listened to the song, liked the song, then I saved it on the...
What made you think, wow, I'm going to use this? What made you think that and when?
Yeah, so this was years ago. My good friend, good question. So let's go back for a second because I wanna answer your question. So in this magazine there's a page right here. Collaborations with Andres Guzman. So there's a good friend of mine. He did this character right here. He did these characters. I did those characters. He did this crazy pinhead character and this character and those. You know, I did the other ones. He did that character. He's a really good artist.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're good friends and we've collaborated a lot together. And anyways, so one time he mentioned about Kiro Uno. We were just hanging out or something, and he just like mentioned about Kiro Uno.
This was in 2005?
Somewhere around that time, yeah. And he just mentioned about it. I didn't even know about Kiro Uno. And I was like, oh, let me listen to some of his music. Started listening to some of his music. I've listened to a lot of his music.
Yeah.
But for some reason, this song, it just really touches my heart. Like I just like love the song. And but anyways, yeah, so I ended up, like I said, I went to a couple concerts that Kiro Uno put on, and I met him, and I even did a portrait of him, and a photographer took a photo of it, and that was really cool. I didn't know at the time it was just someone taking a photo, but that person actually takes photos of like NBA basketball people and rappers and like, you know, a bunch of stuff. But anyways, whatever the case, it is what it is. But what I was trying to say is, you have these different things that inspire you in life, you know, but the thing is like, if I don't communicate that to people, then they just look at my art. They're like, oh, this is your art, that's it, or whatever.
But we have more than one sense, you know. Okay, it's not just sight. here things, you know.
Yeah. So basically, what I was just gonna say is that it's really cool how things kind of worked out because I wanted to do a Kickstarter, and then I end up, learning about Kickstarter, but I put together this playlist, and then I end up meeting the people that are on the playlist. My original intention was to kind of do what's going on right now, only at Barnes and Noble in Union Square in Manhattan, and have like the opening of my magazine thing or whatever. But it didn't happen like how I wanted to because of many reasons or whatever. But basically, it's so cool to be here right now in this situation. It's like it's simple in a sense because you got a computer, you got a projector, and then you meet people and you tell them about your thing or whatever. That's all it is. But the point is that just years later, after wanting to have something like this, but I wasn't able to because first I wasn't done with the magazine. I wanted to have a playlist, but I didn't quite know what I should do because like if I'm at a bookstore and I'm playing music, I don't want the musicians to be like, hey, you were playing my music and you didn't even tell me. You know what I mean? So I met the musicians and I asked them. I said, I want this to be for my magazine. Is that okay? And yeah. So there's one other rapper that I asked. So 3 people through my playlist thing I met personally and was able to talk to them about my magazine and stuff and show them my magazine. But it's just interesting how things work out because, like for example, let me show you. You know Obey Giant, the street artist or the brand Obey.
Yes, I've heard of Obey.
Yeah. So this piece of art right here and this page right here is a friend of mine, Ravi Zupa. I had one of my first art shows with him, but one day when I came back from New York and I hadn't seen him in a long time, he was telling me that he shows his art a lot in Denver, but he wants to have it be shown like more places. And I'm like, because I lived in New York for a while, I was like, well, you should just send your art like to galleries and stuff. And it was interesting because I was staying at his place at that time, and he was somewhat successful in Denver, but he wasn't internationally known or whatever. Well, he might have been internationally known, but he wasn't to how he
I know what you mean,
to how he really wanted it or whatever. But anyways, it's interesting because he ended up showing at Shepherd Ferry Obey Giant's gallery in Los Angeles called Subliminal Projects. He's represented by Obey Giant now. Like, oh yeah, there's another one to show you. So Shepherd Ferry's Obey stickers inspired me to make some stickers of my own. I made these faces in a sketchbook one day, and I was like, oh, I could print these on stickers. So I printed them 1,000 times, and I would put them up places. And like this is a.
What year was this?
Yeah, around 2005. Yeah. But yeah, so I have the Obey. You recognize that Obey face.
I recognize the whole series. Yeah.
Okay.
I recognize I can't recognize the exact faces, but like I do remember it.
Well, this thing that's my art.
Yeah.
But it's the black and white bold like just like what is this kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And that I took that same vibe, but my own thing, and just picked these 6 faces that I just decided to do. But anyways, so I met this guy, Brendan Winnick, in figure drawing class. Let's see. Figure drawing class. I went to figure drawing a lot. Where is it? Oh yeah. So I took figure drawing with John Linsicki. That was my teacher. And this is Brendan Winnick. This is Esteban. And this is interesting too to talk about. But he's one of the big inspirations for me going to New York for art school. Because I asked him where are you gonna go to art school, and he said SVA. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll go there. And yeah, we both went there. But anyways, what I was gonna say about him is one day I asked him. That's why I put this logo here later, because it's something I want to add. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. So like, for example, let's say this was on the app, right? So someone has this on their phone, right? It has all it says is instructed shows this, and then it has that, and
Yeah.
you can click on this.
Yes.
Once you click on this, it brings up Notorious B.I.G., like a little animation or a little video game about him or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the kind of thing, and the reason why is because it's coming out of his mind. So I asked him what kind of music he listens to. He said underground hip
So
hop.
essentially, when you click on
but-
that, you want to be able to go into his mind.
Yeah. So rather than having it just be a magazine, it could be clickable app thing, you know. But also with I want to do more than that. But I just telling you a little something. But last thing I want to say about Brendan is, I asked him. He had an Obey sticker, and I was like, "What's that?" And he told me, he's like, "Oh, you don't know?" I'm like, "No." He said, "Oh, well, if you don't know, you know."
Yeah.
Okay, or something. I'm like, what do you mean? And he wouldn't tell me. He wouldn't tell me about it. And then I ended up finding out later on that it's like something you need to learn on your own or something. He could have easily told me like what it was, but he chose not to or whatever for whatever reason. But it's just interesting because then years later, when I was in Los Angeles at my friend Ravi Zupa's art show, Shepherd Ferry, Obey Giant guy, he comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, this is Ravi Zupa. This is his art show." And I'm like, he's my friend. I know. Like, and it was funny how like things came full circle.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like as far as like, you know, of course, you know, he's a well-known artist and you know respectable and everything, but it was just funny that like I wasn't like, "Oh my God, Shepherd Ferry." It was more, "No, this is my friend." Like, you know. But yeah, no, it's just basically, I think the magazine is so important because it's like in life, like this situation, you come over here, no one needs to know about the fact that you came over here and we're talking, but yet we're recording it, so someone can know about it, you know. But my point of it is like, here I was, I drew this picture. My art teacher, he ended up buying it from a gallery that I had my art, and he wanted it. This is Chong Lu, an artist I met. No one knows who he is connected with me, but he's my friend, and you know, so putting, you know, and these are my friends, you know, and like for example, Esteban Cabeza de Vaca, he did art with Facebook recently, and I don't have his name, nothing. You know, so it would also be cool to like maybe have something where it's like, I don't know, maybe dots are here, like on the app, and you click on it and it's like, and then it opens like the video, kind of like the video I showed you that I'm doing, but only there's a video on the Meta Instagram, and it shows Esteban Cabeza de Vaca talking about his art because, you know, they commissioned him to do it in the Facebook offices or whatever. But it's just interesting because it's like the people we meet, the people we connect with, the things we do, they can be forgotten, you know, or they can just be on a hard drive. But instead, I think it's important to like show the relevance, show the importance of memories that affect who we are, you know. I grew up reading Mad Magazine, and I loved Mad Magazine. And then, you know, I wanted to work for Mad Magazine. Long story short, never did art for Mad Magazine, but I met the art director right across from the what's it called? What's the talk show? The David Letterman show. You know David Letterman?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. David Letterman is like a late night talk show host. Anyways. Right across from his studio is you know, we talked about Mad Magazine.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So right across from there, I think it was on like the 17th floor. I don't remember what floor. That's where the Mad Magazine offices are. I ended up,
Which was very popular here in Australia, Mad Magazine.
Oh, yeah?
My dad had a whole
Oh,
collection
nice.
of it and everything. Yeah.
oh cool.
So it's not like just a US or New York thing. Like Mad
Yeah.
Magazine is like fairly popular. You know. It's massive.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Well, I always wanted to work for Mad Magazine, and I decided to study illustration because I thought, you know, maybe I could work with Mad Magazine. Long story short, I ended up taking a class, and then maybe we can play this a little bit quieter while I'm talking. then that might be a good way to end the video.
On the keyboard, volume control.
Like this. I'll just do like that. Alright. Yeah. So what I was mentioning is, so I took a class that was like a comic class, and the teacher Joey Cavalieri, he mentioned to the students that he worked at DC Comics, and I was more a fan of Image Comics. I don't know if you know Spawn, the comic Spawn. Oh, okay, all good. Well, I was more into that, not so much Superman or Batman.
Yeah.
Superman, Batman, cool, but I was more into Spawn. I like that better, or Lady Death. I don't know if you know that comic. Anyways, I was more into like stuff that was a little bit less mainstream, a little bit more just like thinking, philosophical or whatever. Anyway, so point is he said he worked at DC Comics, and I was like, oh, that's really wild. He edits Superman comics, like whoa. But anyways, so I asked him, I said, could I check out your studio? And then he's like, oh, okay. So he let me come over to his studio, and then after he showed me his studio, he said, oh, you want to check out Mad Magazine? Are you kidding me? Mad Magazine, really? He's like, yeah, it's just 5 floors down. I'm like, what? My dream. That's what I wanted. I wanted to work for Mad Magazine. Yes. So he brings me into the Mad Magazine offices. I'm walking around.
Is it in New York?
Yeah, in New York.
Yeah, were you born in New York?
No, I was born in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, right. And you moved over there. Well, you moved over there. Your family moved over to New York.
Well, my parents were born in New York. Okay. And I was curious why my parents left New York. You know, because their energy is like New York vibes, you know, or whatever. And it's like, why'd you leave and come to Denver? But anyways, whatever the case.
So then you moved to New York after that, after your parents, after your living parents, after studying the visual arts, I think.
Yeah, I went to college in New York.
Oh yeah, yep. And now you're in New York, and now you can see. Now you've just seen Mad Max in the offices.
Mad Magazine.
Mad Magazine.
No, Sam Viviano is the art director. Was the art director, no longer the art director.
Yeah.
He was the art director for Mad Magazine for like 20 plus years, and I studied illustration, so I was told like work with art directors. So I was like, I want to meet Sam Viviano, and here I am being introduced to the magazine, but not introduced to him, but I already knew who he was. So I was like, okay, so this will happen. So we're walking through the Mad Magazine, see the posters and like, you know, people working. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I can't believe this. We're walking through maybe like 8 minutes or something. He's like, this is Joey Cavalieri. He's like, all right, well, cool, Scott, thank you. You know, I'm gonna get going now. I'm like, no. And so then we're walking to the door to go to the Mad Magazine, you know, main entrance or whatever, because he's gonna leave or whatever. And so we walk out, and I'm like, no. So I well, I wasn't saying that to Joey Cavalier. He already left and got on the elevator and went downstairs or whatever. I'm just standing at the door, and I'm like, no. And so I knock on the door. I'm like, is Sam Viviano here? I need to talk to him. And they're like, do you have an appointment? I'm like, no, I just was shown through here by Joey Cavalieri. And they're like, I need to talk to Sam. You have to have an appointment. No, I need to talk to him. And they're like, all right, let me see. And then, so then they come back and they say, all right, he said he'll talk to you for 5 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, you know? And then, so that's what happened. So then I'm sitting in his office, and he's you know, talking to me a little bit or whatever. And that was, you know, amazing, because, you know, after all these years, you know, after all these years to like finally get something to happen like that. Anyways, so I didn't end up working for Mad Magazine, which is a long story, why not, but I now talk to the cover artist sometimes, because I connected with him. So I'll call him on the phone. I'll be like, Mark Fredrickson, how you doing? And he's like, oh, hey, Scott. So it's interesting. I never thought that's what would end up happening. I thought I was going to work for Mad Magazine. But because I didn't end up working for Mad Magazine, next thing you know, one day I'm like...
It's almost kind of like beneficial. You're not, rather than being an employee for Mad Magazine, you're now like friendly associated with the designers and artists of Mad Magazine, which is
and I have my own
Yeah.
magazine.
Exactly,
And I didn't know I
yeah.
was gonna have my own magazine. I studied illustration, not graphic design. I mean, I studied graphic design on my own, kind of like you were saying you did too, because I realized what I realized at a certain point was that it almost doesn't matter how talented you are.
Yeah.
Not that it doesn't, but it almost doesn't. If you're not a good communicator, and if you're not a good I don't know, like listener or whatever.
If you're
or
not
something.
open-minded enough, if you're not willing to learn, then you're not going to go anywhere. You know, if you can just be perspicacious of everything that's going on, see your surroundings, be open-minded to new ideas, you can definitely learn. And there's one thing I found when I was doing graphic design, and this is one thing that hooked me, and what I really loved about it was that anything I wanted to draw, design, or create, and I was doing 3D graphics, not so much drawing. I never had a hand for drawing, but I was doing 3D graphics. One thing I've always loved was the fact that there is so many different ways to create the same thing. So there's any kind of shape or any kind of thing I want to draw, there are so many different ways of going about it, and every single time I dove into, I opened my computer and I dove into the project. I was just like, I don't think I can think of, and I spent, probably well over 1,000 hours, thousands of hours doing these projects, and for a couple of years straight. And honestly, I can't think of a single hour that I didn't learn something. Every time I'm doing drawing, making, like extruding, anything I'm doing, whether that's on a technical side for the lighting and stuff like that and the renders, or whether it's actually formatting the design itself, depending on the project I'm doing, every single time I learn something new. And so that's one thing I really enjoyed about it. And that's why I say, like, if you keep an open mind, honestly, there's so much possibilities in that kind of area, And I hyper focus on one thing, but I also get bored of one thing if it's not going to. So
come back.
Exactly.
That's why the workspaces is awesome on that, because it's like I can.
Yes, and you can sort it out into less cluttered, but at the same time you can focus on everything you need to do for what you need to do, and you can be like, oh shit, it's been 8 hours, So yeah, it's definitely.
So let me just ask you if there's anything you would like to share about yourself or your company, because this video has been really amazing. We're gonna watch it and see how it is or whatever. But do you want to say anything like your name or about your business or something?
No, there's not necessarily need to plug or anything, but I love being here in Melbourne, and I'm Aaron, obviously, and you're Scott. But I love being here in Melbourne and helping people like you out with technology, helping other designers, helping other business owners, helping anyone I can, whether that's providing good workstation computers and stuff like that for graphic design, or whether we use AI or software development to help businesses excel in heaps of different ways. So that's literally my life and what I do, and that's how me and Scott met, how you and I met. So we met because one of the partners of my business is great friends with you, and thought we should meet, and here we are. So it's just lovely talking to you, Scott. For sure. There's not much to it than that, and I don't think every meeting here is not really for business so much, because you did buy a laptop from me, but it's a lot more than that. So it's it's good.
Awesome.
So
well, I'm really glad I was able to share all that with you. I didn't have any idea what I was going to share with you, but I'm glad that you were able to.
The reason I don't even plug my business, because anyone who needs something can go to aaronhills.com.au, which is my name, and then whatever business I'm in at the time will show up there if they want technology. So I won't plug a business in, because if they need to contact me personally, then you just go to Aaron Hills, which is my name.
Well, that's basically what I was just trying to find, I decided to put that there because just in case, if you want to. That's wonderful.
You yourself, Scott, or anything, I don't think that's
AaronHills.com.au.
AaronHills.com.au. So
okay, I'm gonna check out your website for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, at the moment for you, Scott, it's anno.com.au, which is actually my brand. But, you know, brands change, don't they? So my name doesn't. So in 10 years' time, it's still Aaron Hills. In 30 years' time, it's still Aaron Hills, because it will take it to whatever I'm doing at the time. And one key important thing about art and everything else that is valuable is being timeless. So,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's why I just say, you know, if you want to get to know me, just go to my personal site, Aaron Hills, or, you know, or you look it up, look at my Instagram, whatever, you know what I mean? So, you know, yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful.
It's lovely chatting to you, Scott, and it's great we got the video too.
Yeah. I don't know why this alarm is going off right now, but I guess that kind of gives us a good
Good ending.
Yeah. So I'll just end it with this.